Chapter 2: Operating Systems. We will start with a "Do I know this already?" question. Mike, please go to Features in Windows 10 and enable BitLocker for this user. Also, please check if the NIC has the latest drivers. Would you know how to accomplish this task? This is what I want to focus on. I want to focus on some basic features and interesting items that you can find in Windows. We will have a short lecture about macOS and Linux as well. What about servers? Do not worry, we will connect to a server as well. But you know what? It's not just a question here. We will have a ticket. Yes, we will have to enable BitLocker on our test laptop. You all go, "Well, that's not really fair, mate. You said you'd take one step at the time and now you're asking us to enable a pretty advanced feature that you've not even covered yet? What's wrong with you? I want a refund." Again, a refund? Come on. But seriously, the idea behind this section, this training and this exercise is to show you that sometimes you don't have to understand everything in detail to know how to fix an issue, how to enable a feature. This is exactly what I want to show you here. You don't have to know everything about BitLocker. So, okay, what's BitLocker? I've never used it. What's BitLocker? BitLocker is a full disk encryption system. It's a cool solution built into Windows that allows you to protect your disk. It is available in Windows Pro and above. This means that if you have Windows 8 or Windows 10 Home, you cannot enable BitLocker. You need at least Windows 8 or 10 Pro. Why would you enable BitLocker? It is a full disk encryption solution. This means that it is not going to encrypt your files, it is going to encrypt your drive, your disk. The good thing is that when you lose your laptop and someone removes your disk, well, he or she will not be able to read anything, to access your drive. BitLocker requires a special chip called TPM that will store all your keys. You can actually enable BitLocker without TPM, but it is not recommended and sometimes it is against a policy. You have to check if it's okay if someone asks you to enable BitLocker without this special chip. Okay, so that was like a short lecture about BitLocker. Do you need anything else? You can imagine I was your manager or a senior technician. I explained to you what BitLocker was, that's fine. You know what BitLocker is. Now I can just use a test PC and show you how to enable it. That's it. If you face any issues, if you see an error, you can come back to me. But it is more than enough to just go and enable BitLocker. Do you agree with me? And you know what? I said I would enable BitLocker on our test laptop. But it's not my idea. Our user, Kate, needs your help. So we will raise a ticket on her behalf. You can imagine she called you up a few minutes ago, so you can just raise a ticket on her behalf. Take a look. So we just specify whatever we want. Enable BitLocker. May I have BitLocker on my laptop, please? We go to Open Cases and we can assign this ticket. I will assign it to myself. Let's reply to Kate. We say, "It's okay, Kate, I am going to work on it now." in progress. We will continue in our next lecture. We will connect to her laptop and enable BitLocker. There is a twist in this exercise, so stay with me. Enabling BitLocker Part 2. We have our ticket in place. We can connect to her laptop now. To remind you, our job is to connect to T01 and enable BitLocker on it. I am going to use Radmin again. It's the same laptop that you've seen so far. I store my passwords in KeePass. Oh, okay. The battery is about to die. I didn't plan that. Okay, when things go wrong, I keep recording. So what would you do? This laptop is going to sleep in a moment. You cannot really enable anything. You have to reply to Kate, or even better, call her up and ask her to plug it in. You cannot enable any advanced features if your laptop is about to go to sleep. You can actually break Windows. So we can just call her up. That would be the best option. Just call Kate and ask, can you find your power supply, please? I want to continue enabling BitLocker for you. It's sorted. We go to Start and type BitLocker. You just say turn on BitLocker. Kate is not a local administrator, so you have to provide your own password. Again, you will have it in KeePass or you will memorize it. But wait, something went wrong. There is an error message. Well, it seems to me that this laptop has no TPM module. There is no TPM chip, Trusted Platform module. It is possible to enable BitLocker without TPM. In most cases, it is not your job. You cannot really go and bypass TPM. In many cases, it is against your policy. What would you do? There are a lot of things that you could do here. First of all, reply to customer. Let Kate know that, well, there is a problem, but you're working on it. It is not going to be a 2-minute job. You have to figure out what to do next. It's extremely important to keep your customers up to date. Let them know that there will be a short delay. Now, when you reply, that's okay, we've done it, what can you do? You can escalate this ticket. In most cases, you will escalate it to, let's say, second, third line. You can ask your manager, you can email your manager, you can call up your supervisor, you can ask a friend who is next to you. Maybe he is a senior guy, he can help you with it. You have a lot of options when you face a problem. Don't try and Google it, just see what and who can help you with this issue straight away. You can request participants here as well. You can assign this ticket to somebody else. We will assume you called up your manager and he fixed it for you. That's fine, we can continue. Wait, what? You're not going to show us how it's been done? Of course I will, so don't worry. So we will just assume that we are, in a way, a manager or a senior technician who is sorting out this issue for us. So let's try and read this message again. It says you have to enable one feature, allow BitLocker without a compatible TPM. So Windows is not really saying you can't use BitLocker. You can, but you have to enable one additional feature. What you're about to see is not a first-line support job really, so I will not explain everything in detail. The idea is that every single device in your network, Windows-based, has a special policy, a local policy that allows you to tweak all these options. One of them is allow BitLocker without a TPM device. We open CMD as a local administrator. So we type CMD and open it with local account. We type gpedit.msc. This is something that is called local group policy. Over here, we have to find this option. We have to find BitLocker. How can I know where to go here? You can refer to your knowledge base, you can in a way Google, but in most cases you will memorize it. If you enable BitLocker 2 or 3 times, you will know where to find this option. You can also ask your friend, your manager. You have a lot of options. Here we go. You say enable. Apply and OK. It is not enough to enable this feature. You have to tell your device, your laptop, please start using these features. We have to refresh all these settings. gp update/force is the command you want to use for it. What about now? Okay, looks good. So if I was a senior technician, I would cancel this wizard and let you know, listen Marius, BitLocker can be enabled now. Do it. It would not be a senior guy or a second line job to enable BitLocker. Their job was to fix your problem. Does that make sense? So of course we can reconnect and enable BitLocker now. We have to enter a password. Without a TPM chip, you have to provide a password. It has to be a pretty strong password, I'll show you. So if your password is pretty short, well, Windows will complain about it. I'll show you. Okay, so it is recommended like 20 characters. Now you have to back up your recovery key. It is a really important step because if something goes wrong with your password, you lose it, you need a recovery key. If you lose both, you're done. There is no backdoor. Believe me, there is no backdoor. You cannot access this device anymore. So it is a pretty important step. Which option should you go for? It all depends. You will probably have a procedure how to enable BitLocker. They will tell you which option to go for. I will save it to a file because I want to show you what's inside. You can save it to a file or print. What do you mean print? Yes, you can print to PDF. So in a way you can save it locally. Remember, you have to store it in a secure place because when someone gets access to this file, he can recover your password. We want to go for the second option because this device is already in use. We have 2 encryption modes. We'll use the first one. I don't want to run a system check because that would require my laptop to be rebooted. If you're not sure, if you're confused, if you don't know what to choose, you can always refer to a book, to a runbook, to a special document, to knowledge base, articles, and so on. So what's in this file? BitLocker recovery key. We have an identifier and a recovery key. If you forget your password, you can use these 2 pieces of information to recover your disk. It can take a while to enable BitLocker if this laptop is in use. It can take a few hours to enable BitLocker. You can leave it in the background if you want. However, I would recommend keep it, and you should make sure that it is all okay. Microsoft is going to tell you, do whatever you want, we can enable BitLocker in the background. It is a pretty advanced feature. I would leave it. When you're done, you can reply to Kate and close this ticket. How cool is that? Overview of Microsoft operating systems. I hope you will get a chance to work with Windows 10 only. There is a chance you will have some legacy devices. Windows XP, Windows Vista and Windows 7 are end of life. You should not really find these devices in a corporate environment. Most companies have Windows 10 because a few years ago it was very easy to update to Windows 10. It was for free. Windows 10 has three main editions: Windows Home, Windows Pro and Windows Enterprise. In a corporate environment, you will find Windows 10 Pro and Enterprise. You will not find a lot of devices running Windows Home Edition. In most cases, when you think about a Windows operating system and a big company, you have a lot of devices. You can imagine you have hundreds, thousands of laptops. You do not want to go to every single device to configure it. You want to have one place that will manage all your devices. For a Windows environment, you will use something that is called a Windows Server device. Windows Server with a special role that is called Active Directory. Active Directory allows you to, in a way, manage all your devices, users, permissions from one place. You can actually enable BitLocker on all devices in your company with one policy. You don't have to go to every single device and create a policy. You can create one policy on a server and deploy it. In most cases, it is not a first-line support job to create a policy. Sometimes you will have to troubleshoot a problem. In most cases, your job will be to reset a password, to see why a driver is not working, and so on. You will use a number of remote support tools. You've seen Radmin already. Radmin is not the only tool, as you can imagine. I've been using RealVNC as well. TightVNC is for free because Radmin and RealVNC, they require a license. They offer a free trial, so you can just download it for free and play with it, but TightVNC is free. Why would you buy a license if I can use something for free? Well, TightVNC does not allow you to use encryption. Radmin, RealVNC and some similar tools offer more features. Okay, what about TeamViewer? We will have a lab about macOS. I will show you TeamViewer. It's my favorite tool. TeamViewer is a pretty unique solution. Radmin, RealVNC, TightVNC, they all work in a local network. You have to be connected to the same network. You are in your office. TeamViewer, on the other hand, is a client-server client solution. This means that you can put TeamViewer on your local PC and ask a user in another country to open TeamViewer. You can connect to his PC using TeamViewer. Does that make sense? You don't have to modify anything on these devices. With Radmin, RealVNC, TightVNC, you would have to modify a firewall rule, which is not recommended, to be honest. So TeamViewer is a great tool if you want to support users who are all over the place. TeamViewer, again, is not the only tool. There is LogMeIn as well, a lot of options. Before we move on, I have to introduce two terms, DHCP and DNS. DHCP allows you to lease IP addresses. DNS is designed to translate names into IP addresses. Why would you use these services? It's all about a big network, a lot of devices. You can imagine you have 500 laptops. You don't want to go to every single laptop and assign an IP address. Do you remember an IP address? Something that allows your device to talk to another device. DNS is very similar. You don't want to use an IP address, to be honest. Okay, you want to go to facebook.com. You want to go to ebay.com. You don't want to go to 75.22.5.2. Does that make sense? You don't want to use an IP address when you browse the internet. DNS is going to translate a name, for instance facebook.com, into an IP address. I'll show you. You open CMD and say ping facebook.com. Check this out. That was done by DNS. DNS is a special server that said, you know what? Facebook.com is 31.13.92.36. Okay, how can I figure out what my DNS server is? What am I using at the moment? You type ipconfig all, in Windows of course. In Linux devices it is ifconfig, or there are some other commands. I'll show you later on. Over here you can see your DNS server. Okay, what about Windows 10? What do I have to know? Let's connect to our test device again. You have to understand that you are not a user anymore. You are an administrator. I'll show you what I mean. Someone says, can you create a new account for me? A local account. You say, well, yeah, I know. I can click here. I go to accounts. Change account settings. And I can add a new user here. I can sign in with a local account. I can go for sign-in options and so on. Well, an administrator will not use these options. You will right-click here and say Manage. You can create a local account over here. New user. Have you seen this option before? Well, if you're an end user, you use your laptop to go to Facebook, to browse the internet, to listen to the music, to open Spotify. You don't really need these options. You are an administrator now, so a lot of things that you've done as a user, you do in a different way as an administrator. One of the things that you have to play with is Device Manager. You just type Device Manager here. Okay, so we are logged as a standard user. Again, Mike, Kate, they are not local administrators. That's okay because we don't have to modify any options here. So that's okay. You can see everything about your hardware in here. One of the things that you will do from time to time is a driver. When you right-click here, go to Properties, you can update your driver. You can go for driver details or update your driver. You want to update the driver if your device behaves in a weird way. Sometimes you will see there is no driver. If you add a new piece of hardware, you have to update the driver. Sometimes you can download it off the internet. Sometimes it is enough to say update the driver and Windows will go and find the best driver for you. We will continue talking about some really cool features of Windows and some other operating systems in our next lecture. It's very hard to guess what operating systems you will support. This is why I am going to include a short lecture and show you some basics when it comes to macOS and Linux. I have a MacBook Pro over here. We will use TeamViewer, a really cool application that allows you to connect to a device remotely. What's the difference between TeamViewer and Radmin? Radmin can be used in your small network in your office. TeamViewer can be installed on one device and then on another device that is 500 miles away from you. You don't have to modify any routers, any firewalls, any network devices. You can just connect. TeamViewer is free to use for home users. If you want to support your customers, you have to buy a license. How does it work? When you install TeamViewer on your customer's device, or ask your customer to run it, because they don't have to install it, it's a single file. When they open it, they will see two things, an ID and a password. They have to provide both and you can connect. It's a one-time password. You can change it or you can go for something that is called unattended access. You will have the same ID, the same password. I am connected. When you think about a MacBook Pro, macOS, by default, Mac will not really allow anyone to use this application. I'll show you. So when you go to System Preferences, you go to Security and Privacy, you have to specify which applications can manage your MacBook. It's over here. If you don't allow an app here, TeamViewer will not be allowed to connect to your MacBook Pro and use your mouse and keyboard. What can you expect? What issues, what tasks can you expect? You have to be okay with all basic options, like users, groups, wallpapers. If you want to make a change, you have to unlock this item. Now I can add a new account. You will see some Bluetooth questions as well. A lot of users use Bluetooth devices today. When you see a problem with a Bluetooth device, in most cases it is okay to turn off and on Bluetooth. You can also just disconnect this device and try and connect it back. If you've never used a MacBook Pro device, just get one from your friend and play with it. Click around, see what you can access. Here you can add a printer. You can make a backup. It's called Time Machine. You can exclude items. Do you get the idea? Just click around, see what's available. Every single item that you can see on your screen can be a ticket, can be a problem that you have to sort out. Tell your user how to execute a task. Here we have some folders, favorites, locations, tags. It's very similar to Windows over here. Go through some basic applications like maps, messages, contacts, calendars, notes. These things are used by end users every day. They can ask you, okay, what if I want to take a note? What's the best option? Finally, some network settings. We will have a chapter dedicated to networking, but it is a good idea to see what's inside. You can see wireless settings. Do you remember DHCP? DHCP allows you to assign an IP address automatically. You do not really want to assign a static IP address for end users. You can view all available wireless networks here. You can connect, disconnect, change your password, and so on. You have to bear in mind that you are connected remotely. You have a remote session with this laptop. Do not disconnect a wireless network. If you turn off wireless, in most cases your connection will be dropped. If you want to play with wireless settings, it makes sense to have a backup connection to this laptop. You can have a wired connection. You can install a second card. Finally, some tools. Some additional tools. Activity Monitor. Very similar to Task Manager in Windows. Terminal. Yes, we want to type some commands. ifconfig is very similar to the ipconfig command. You can ping as well. If you spend like 30-45 minutes playing with one MacBook Pro, you will be okay. Let's talk about Linux now. Do you know that you can have more than one operating system running on your device? You can use something that is called virtualization. We will talk about it in part 2 of our course, but here I want to show you that you can actually install Linux using something that is called VirtualBox. If you need step-by-step instructions, please go to my extra lectures. You will find this lecture that was taken from my ethical hacking course. You will see how you can install VirtualBox and install Linux. I am going to use something that is called Kali Linux, a special distribution of Linux that is designed for security. Why? Well, you can go for any distribution of Linux that you want. I really love Kali Linux because it's great to play with some security options. Using VirtualBox, you can just open one file and have Linux up and running on your laptop within minutes. You don't have to know anything about Linux to have it in place. In most cases, when you think about Linux, you can type all commands and you can use your mouse as well. So for instance, you can go and change wireless settings and wired settings. You can see your IP address over here. Again, it is DHCP. You can assign a static IP address if you want to. You can turn off and turn on your card. You have some folders in here: documents, downloads, desktop, home, other locations, network locations, and so on. A cool thing about Kali Linux is that you have a lot of pre-configured applications. They are designed for security specialists, so you don't have to know all of them. Well, actually, you don't have to know anything that you can see in applications, but it's really cool to open some of them and see what's available. When you open Terminal, you can use some commands. ifconfig. You can see your IP address and network settings. You can ping. Linux will just keep pinging. You have to press Ctrl+C to stop it. Use the clear command to clear the screen. The ls command allows you to list folders and files. CD stands for Change Directory. It's the same in Windows. So you can say CD Documents. And then ls to list all files that are inside. You can create a directory from here. In most cases, when you think about a Linux device, you will type all these things. You can use the up and down arrow to move around your commands, to reuse a command that you used a minute ago. You can list all commands that you've used as well. Finally, when someone asks you to run a command, you can just say help to learn more about this command. It's not only that you will see all switches, you will see what this command is designed to do. I want to stop here because playing with a Linux device is a very unique job. I'm not saying you are not going to support Linux devices. 80–90% of jobs are around a Windows environment. Do you remember our discussion about Windows editions? I created that exercise on purpose. There is a huge difference between Windows Home and Windows Pro. If you have Windows Pro or above, like Windows Enterprise, you can actually manage this device using Windows Server. You can join it to something that is called a domain. You will get a chance to manage hundreds, thousands of devices. In most cases, as a service desk agent, you will not connect to a server directly. I am connected because I want to show you what you can really expect. In most cases, you will have a special tool on your desktop that will look very similar to what you're about to see. Okay, how are you connected to this server? Because it looks a bit different. There is no admin, no TeamViewer. Yes, I am using something that is called RDP, Remote Desktop Protocol. RDP is a built-in feature in Windows that allows you to connect to a device remotely. Okay, are you trying to tell me, mate, that you have shown so many tools and there is something that is built into Windows? What's wrong with you? When you connect with RDP to a server or to an end device like Windows 10 Pro, you cannot see the screen. An end user cannot see the screen. If I have, let's say, T01 and I connect to it using RDP, John, our user, Mike, Kate, they will see nothing. They will see a message that someone else is using their laptop. This is why RDP is not good to provide remote support, because John, Mike, Kate cannot really see what you're doing, cannot show you what the problem is. On the other hand, RDP is great to manage a server. A server is in a data center. It's in the middle of nowhere. You don't have to have a screen. No, it's okay to use RDP to connect to it. What kind of server are you running? This is a cloud-based server. You can have a dedicated server. You can have a cloud server. You can use VirtualBox. Do you remember VirtualBox? You can use VirtualBox to install your own server as well. Okay, so going back to our discussion about servers and things around it. What's that all about? ADDS. Active Directory Domain Services. Active Directory allows you to manage permissions, create users, groups, and so on. It's a centralized solution that is really great and easy to manage. We go to Tools and we open the most important application, the most important item, Active Directory Users and Computers. In most cases, in Service Desk, this is the main option that will be available to you. You might not have all possible options visible in here, but yes, you will get an idea. You will have some options and items here. What can we see here? Test.local is our domain. A domain is a logical item, something that allows you to connect other devices to. Now, one thing, it's not a folder, it's an OU, organizational unit. We do not have any computers, but we will have some users. In most cases, your job will be all about users and some options that you can configure. I'll show you. Let's say you have to create a new user. You right-click, you say New, User. Let's say you want to create an account for our test user, Mike Smith. You say Mike Smith. Okay, what about a logon name? You will have a procedure, you will have a standard to use. Sometimes it might be M. Smith, sometimes it's Mike Smith, sometimes it's Mike.Smith. It all depends. If you're not sure, go back to your knowledge base, ask your manager. You can figure it out because it will be very similar to something that you're using at the moment, but you might support some external companies, so you have to check it out. Let's say it's first name, last name, Mike Smith. Now a password. You say, okay, what do you mean a password? It's for Mike, so Mike should come up with a password. He will, because the first option has been enabled. He will have to change this password. You right-click, go to Properties, Account. We have some additional options in here. Let's say Mike leaves our company. You want to disable his account. Apply. His account has been disabled. You don't want to delete this account straight away because maybe he has something on his laptop, maybe there is something that he has access to, and so on. You want to disable his account. Another thing is to reset his password. You right-click, Reset Password. You give this password to Mike, he logs in and has to change this password. You can unlock this account from here as well. A really cool feature is something that is called logon hours. Check this out. You can specify that Mike can log into your system, let's say here, Tuesday, 2:30 p.m. That's it. I hope that you have a better understanding of Active Directory now. Yes, you've guessed it, we have one more ticket. Let's give it a go. In Windows, you have something that is called Event Viewer. You go to Windows Logs, you have Applications, Security, Setup, System. You can see some errors. You will see some errors. Not all of them are critical, not all of them are really important. This one is interesting. Ninite. Yes, we have a reason why our manager asked us to connect and verify what's been happening. Maybe T01 cannot talk to a server. Yeah, so you can just scroll, you can filter. But there is a really cool application, a really cool tool that I want to show you. Reliability history. You can see things in red are really critical. We are talking about extremely critical system problems. A system has crashed, something happened, there is a problem with RAM and so on. Critical issues. It's really cool because you can see a nice graph. You can see everything in detail. You can save it as a report straight away. I will show you what an administrator uses every day to gather information, to see what's going on a laptop. You press Windows R for Run. MMC stands for Management Console. You go to File, Add Snap-in. you have a really long list of options that you can go for. One of them is Device Manager. Do you remember Device Manager? You have Event Viewer. You can manage your disks. And open services. Can you see how cool it is? You don't have to go to Start and type Event Viewer, Device Manager, Services, Disk Management. No, you have everything in one place. Now you can view your devices. You can view services. A service is a small application that is running in the background. I will show you the most important one. I know, this was just to check if your system has crashed, but I want to take advantage of it and show you some additional really cool features. You will see a ticket about it. You will. It's not a question if, but when. If something goes wrong with a job, with a print job, you have to go to Services, right-click and restart this service. It is grayed out because I am logged as a user. I'm not an administrator. CMD, right-click, run as an administrator. Now everything that I am going to type in this CMD window will have admin rights. So when I type MMC, MMC will have admin rights. Take a look. When I add this snap in again, for example, services, now I can restart this service. Does that make sense? Even if someone asks you, can you verify if your PC has crashed in the last couple of weeks? Be more interested in it. Check some additional options. Yes, but we have to reply to our manager. Let's save this as a report. Event Viewer. Filter. Let's go for critical and errors. We can see some messages. We can save it. Hi, John. I noticed that agent had crashed. Completed. Here is another ticket for us. Push Malwarebytes to T01. I can assign it to myself and work on it. This time it's a change. It's not a ticket, it's not an issue, it's not an incident, it's a change. So I say, okay, I am implementing it at the moment. We will use Ninite Pro. We have our laptop in the list. Now when we go to apps, we can see a really cool application, Malwarebytes. Malwarebytes is a well-known application to assist an antivirus on your device. It can work with Kaspersky, Bitdefender and so on. It's not good enough to keep it as the only application on your desktop, but it is a great tool to have it in place. Please note that in this ticket our manager assumed we would know what to do. He just said push Malwarebytes to T01. He didn't explain to us, okay, please use Ninite Pro. Please use radmin to connect to T01. Please use KeePass to get your username and password. Can you see the difference between this ticket and the ticket that we received a few hours ago? Now our manager assumes that we have mastered all these things. He doesn't have to explain everything in detail. Okay, let's go to Ninite Pro and install it. How cool is that? Can you see how cool Ninite Pro is? You don't have to bother your end user. You can push any applications you want. Let's connect to T01 and see what's going on it. You will not see any messages on T01. Ninite Pro is doing it in the background. After a few minutes, we should just see a desktop icon. That's it. It's done. Ninite Pro can be used to update your applications as well. So when Malwarebytes releases a new version, Ninite Pro will report it and will allow us to update all applications. You can start a trial version and use it for 14 days. If you don't pay anything, you can use Malwarebytes offline. This means that it is not going to run in the background, but you can scan your system. We are done, we can go back to our task and say, OK, Malwarebytes has been installed. Please remember to add as many things as possible, explain everything in detail. So we say version 40449. Save. Our change has been completed.